Hello 2024, Happy New Year! The Flood Protection Outlook.
Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast to the protection against heavy rain and flooding by Dr. Flood, Andreas Klippe.
So the big challenge is, how can house owners like you and me get a flood-free home? How can business managers like you and me get a flood-free company? And how can public servants provide flood-free critical infrastructure and livable cities?
Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast by Dr. Flood, Andreas Klippe. This podcast is for foresighted and proactive people who do not want to shovel the muddy water out of their room while standing in the midst of the disaster.
Therefore, those who design and plan, the architects and engineers, need to construct such buildings and cities, and that even when the entire environment is completely flooded. That is a challenge, and this podcast will give the answers.
Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast by Dr. Flood, Andreas Klippe.
Yeah, Happy New Year again. I wish you all the best. And I want to look ahead to the year 2024. That's my flood protection outlook. In the last episode, I had a review of what happened in 2023, but this year is gone already. So let's welcome 2024, and I hope that you will have an excellent year and a very peaceful year, of course. However, we just said goodbye to 2023, and now we face the climate and weather challenges of 2024. So how can we do it better? What can we expect? How can we improve flood protection? And I want to look to the disasters of 2024 and what will happen, how much rainfall can be expected in the individual countries, which critical infrastructures will be affected, and how can we be better prepared for flood disasters compared to 2023. Yeah, once again, hello and welcome to this first episode of Flood Protection Secrets podcast for 2024. I'm Andreas Klippe, your guide on this journey towards better understanding and preparing for flood-related disasters. In our last episode, we revisited some of the year's most significant flood events, and today we turn our gaze to the future. The future, yes, examining, what kind of word, what the coming year might hold for us in terms of flood risks. And I want to give you 3 examples. And the first example is forecasting 2024's weather and flood risks. In this segment, I will explore the potential weather patterns for 2024. Based on climate models and historical data, we'll discuss expected rainfall levels in different countries and regions. So it's crucial to understand these patterns, as they directly influence the likelihood and severity of flooding events. What do we already know? Bad weather phenomena become more and more unpredictable, but they happen more frequently and more intensely. I remember very well when I said that 10 years ago, the people were smiling and laughing and saying, oh no, it's only temporarily and there's no climate change, it's bad weather, that always happens. And we have seen a heavy rain that was this 100 years rainfall. And as I've said before, don't believe in this 100 years rainfall storytelling. It's bullshit, I always say. Yes, I must repeat that again and again, because what does it mean? For the next 99 years, there's nothing what you can expect. There's no bad weather that might hit you. There's no flooding. And we have seen every every worst flooding is setting up a new world record, ready for the Guinness Book of Records, and replacing the old record. And that doesn't happen all 100 years, that happens much faster. So all 50 years, 40 years, 20, 10, 5 years. So nobody knows. But do you want to gamble with the safety of your company, of when you are a public servant, of your public facilities, hospitals, schools, universities, public transport, airports, or when you are a homeowner like me? Would we gamble with the safety of our home, with the safety of our families? Certainly not. So even in areas where we did not expect flooding to happen, you certainly expect heavy rain in countries like China, India, the Philippines, with their 25 annual typhoons. Yeah, Philippines, 25 times the typhoon is hitting the country year after year. Okay, that's normal. We are used to that already. However, that is a big picture. We are not talking about the country when we want to protect our own building, our own home. To be honest, you certainly don't care what happens to your country where you live in. You are interested in what happens in my street, in my village, in my street, what happens where I live. That is what counts. And of course, you expect flooding in the USA, in Australia, in Canada, in the Netherlands, United Kingdom. But have you thought about flooding in desert countries such as Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, and the United Arab Emirates? Now, some of you might wonder. Or those in the Middle East, they know already what I'm going to tell you. But some others, they might now think, oh, Dr. Klippe is starting the new year with very funny stories. The Middle East, it never rains. It never rains in Southern California. That is not true, and it is not true that it never rains in the desert countries. So we have to be alarmed in every country. We should not accept people telling us it never happened before. That is what everybody else in the flooded regions also said. But after the disaster, do not trust these people, trust the experience. And it was raining in Saudi Arabia. I just listened to my 2023 flood protection review, and I mentioned one example of Jeddah. And Jeddah was hit several times during the last year. Qatar. I was just there when just after the flooding on October 27 in 2023. And there was one rainfall from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. And this 1 hour was enough to fill a basement parking of a huge commercial center up to 4 meters with 35 fancy, expensive cars. Brand new Mercedes and BMWs were destroyed, and all the generators were destroyed. All warehouse storage was destroyed. So that was in Qatar, and I can report similar things from Kuwait, Muscat in Oman, and the United Arab Emirates. In Dubai is the same in October. Heavy rain in November. No, it was in October 2023 again. Okay, that was segment number 1, the forecasting 2024 weather and flood risk. So, segment number 2 is vulnerable infrastructures and areas. So next we delve into the critical infrastructures that are most at risk, from transportation networks to power grids. So you can think already, where is the next transportation unit in your neighborhood, the next power plant, transformer stations. We'll identify the areas that need urgent attention and improvement to withstand the onslaught of potential flooding. What is it? Airports, metro systems, bus terminals, hospitals, universities, schools. However, when it comes to the municipality, to the city, what can you say? You can say my city is where I live with my family. That is exactly what describes it well. That is what counts. And I mentioned all this critical infrastructure, and that is under the responsibility of the public servants When it comes to business, perhaps you are a business manager, but even you are not a business manager, you certainly work somewhere, and then it's about your business facility, like industry, warehouses, commercial centers, hotels, offices, shops. So what can you say about that? My business is my income. So the moment the business is destroyed or hit by flooding, you might lose your income. In many countries in the world, it is true when the people say no job, no income, and no work, no pay. That's it. No work, no pay. That was the right slogan. So, and for the third group, these are the private homes. Perhaps you are also a homeowner like me. So what do we say? My home is my castle. That is where I live in. That is where my family lives. That is where I live, and that is the center of my activities. So I want to protect that, of course. So we all should better protect our belongings. We have all spent too much of our hard-earned money to create them or to purchase them. Think about that. How much money you have spent in the past year and in the past 10 years during your life for your home. Whether it is a condominium, whether it is a house, a garden, garage, cars, bicycles, sports equipment, music instruments, jewelries, nice dresses, clothes, things like that. Calculate everything together and you will be shocked. I tell you, I did that one time. I was shocked how much money. I said to myself, did I earn so much money in my life that I have spent for all these things? And to be honest, most of the things you don't need or we don't need. That is a little bit shocking, but that's another question. So segment number 3 today is lessons from the past and strategies for the future. So this final segment focuses on preparedness. So are we prepared? Are you prepared for the next heavy rain? I was not really prepared. Even me, I was not really prepared for this heavy storm hitting Germany during the Christmas days, and this temporary plastic. What is it? Hut? It's not a blockhouse. It's a kind of hut. It's a tent. Consider it as a tent that we normally put on the terrace to put in and to cover the flowers and the bushes, that they survive the cold winter temperatures, as long as it is cold, below zero, and so on. So that was blown away by the wind. So I was not prepared because I didn't attach it well. I thought it is enough. And we all should think about, prepare ourselves a little bit better when it comes to preparedness. So I will present, during this year as well, I will present the top 14 flood protection barrier types. I always mention that, so I'm always proud that I say, hey, I can tell you about the top 14 flood protection barrier types. And I don't want just to highlight one single flood barrier type, because it can be that exactly this type doesn't fit for your belongings, that it doesn't fit for your needs. And that is what I'm going to do. I'm talking about all these portable flood barriers, doors and gates, automatic systems, glass barriers, and so on and so forth. And you will learn which are the best for your application, for your building, for your area. And it is not a question of money you will spend. It is a question of money you will save when the big wave of flood will hit your building. I say it again, it is not the question of money you will spend. It is a question of money you will save when the big wave of flood will hit your building. The damages, the losses are by far, I said it 3 times, higher than every expense you call it. I call it improvement of your infrastructure. It is an investment. It is not costs. That is a big, huge difference. Why did your parents teach you swimming when you were young? Do you still remember? That they did that for one reason, that you are prepared for the worst. That And also that you can have some fun, of course, sure, huh? Swim with the friends. But first comes the idea a child could drown. And this is the essential driving force for you, the parents, the argument that has triggered your parents. They wanted to protect you. My parents wanted to protect me, that I survive in a swimming pool, that I survive at the seaside, that I survive at a lake, at a river, at a creek. When you see flood protection from this angle, the decisions becomes easy. Never forget that the damages will cost you more than you can imagine today. Now that is inventory about all things you purchased during lifetime. Yeah, that's it already. This Hello 2024, the flood protection outlook, and I can summarize it in a way that, let me say it this way: as we embark on this new year, let's commit to staying informed, vigilant, and proactive in our fight against flood disasters. Remember, preparation today can prevent the crisis of tomorrow. Preparation today can prevent the crisis of tomorrow. Stay tuned for my next episode, where I will continue to unravel the complexities of flood protection and resilience. I thank you so much for listening, and until next time, stay safe and prepared, and wishing you a safe and prosperous New Year 2024. My name is Andreas Klippe. If you want to know more about flood protection, go to my website, follow me, or just contact me. And as always, stay safe and flood free. I wish and hope for you that you make the right decisions when it comes to your personal flood protection. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to this podcast channel if you haven't already. Now it only remains for me to wish you a good day. Do something with it. Maybe until the next podcast episode. I would be very happy. See you then. As always, stay safe and flood free. Your Andreas Klippe and the whole Flood Experts team.
That's it again with a new episode of Flood Protection Secrets, the podcast by Dr. Flood Andreas Klippe, German engineer, book author, and head of the Flood Experts. What can Dr. Flood Andreas Klippe protect for you? Anytime? Worldwide? Contact us or just click through to www.floodexperts.de/bonus. Detailed engineering, German quality, safe. Flood protection secrets. The secrets you'll want to unfold.
Don't forget, you're only one flood barrier away.
Subscribe to the season, and you'll never be late for an episode.